up, y'all? It is July 14th, and we are headed to the Mississippi Delta to go do some scouting on some public land. I'm pretty familiar with this area. I've been hunting it for 5 or 6 years. I actually got a camp within a couple miles of the public land that I like to go to. This year's gonna be a little different. I'm gonna be self-filming, so y'all bear with me. I'm all new to this. I'm sure I'll have some mishaps and missed opportunities, but the goal is to try to get some stuff on camera, just to kind of show everybody that public land, I mean, there's plenty of public land through every state, and man, you don't have to have a big lease or spend all this money on properties and stuff. I mean, that's all good, but I can't really afford it. So I know a lot of other people that can't really afford it, and I've been having a lot of success on public land the last 5 or 6 years, and just trying to get everybody to realize that, man, you can get out here and do it. You got to put in the work. It's not easy, but it's very rewarding when you do get one on the ground, and they got good deer out here. You just got to put in the work. So that's what we're doing right now. We headed to the camp. Gonna go put in some work tomorrow. Gonna do some scouting. Try to find some new stuff for October. Also got to bring all my stuff home. I got a Kentucky trip planned. Me and a group of guys. We go every year. Some public land in Kentucky. So pretty pumped up about that. But this is my first trip back to the camp since last year. I've been working a lot. Staying at home with the kids and stuff, but y'all just stay with me. I'll try to do my best at showing y'all kind of how I go about hunting public land and scouting, and just all the things I've learned over the last few years, and hopefully I can show y'all some stuff so y'all can get out there and do the same thing. So see y'all in the woods. So I got to the camp and realized my tire was flat. Could not get the tire off the rim because I didn't have the tools. So I will be heading to Walmart in the morning, and hopefully I can get it fixed, because a lot of places I want to go, I need a bike. So we'll see. I don't know. It's always something. Public land, I'm telling you, it's always something. But we'll get it fixed and get after it in the morning. Alright, well, I got the bike tire fixed. Had to go to Walmart and get some tools. Got her good. Put some flat out in it. That was a pain in the butt, but we got it. So we about to head out to our first spot. Oh, it's hot. But here we go. Alright, way back here in the first spot. Really not far off the road, but I hunted in here last year and saw some good deer. I killed a doe in here early season. I'm gonna kind of show y'all what I look for when it's hot early season. I find them deer, try to find spots that are in lower parts, kind of like cooler areas, and somewhere where they got water and some green vegetation. So back here, that's the truck back here, about 150, 200 yards, and then it's kind of like wide open CRP, and then you come here and it drops off. I don't know if you can see it, but it drops off, kind of drops off into this swamp, a big thick swamp back here. And honestly, it's a lot cooler right here where it drops off. You got a lot of, starting to get a lot of brush, a lot of cover, and I started seeing a lot of tracks, especially down here by this swamp. I'm gonna show y'all. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can tell, but it starts to drop off right here. A little elevation change, and it gets down here in this wet, cool, moist area.
really starting to cool off actually when you're walking down here. So you get down here and it starts getting a little bit more wet. And there are deer tracks and deer trails going straight through here. Actually some pretty nice sized tracks. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, but you got tracks and they're cutting straight through here. And over here they got some green vegetation where the ground's still wet at, and I find that they eat on that early season a lot. I mean, there's really a lot of stuff they can eat that's green, but I find they like being in these cooler areas. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but that's a pretty good track. Pretty good buck track, it looks like. And they're just all up in this stuff, and it's thick, I call it buck brush. And it's just all through here, and they got some spots where water's holding, like over here they got a little water. And in the evening times, you know, in the middle of the day, I imagine they bedding somewhere up in here, and then they come up and get on this slope right here and kind of feed their way up to this high ground in the evenings. So yeah, I think I can kill one right here. Got a pin I marked on my Onyx. I don't want to get too far down in here. I kind of want to stay up on the higher end where it's kind of sloping up for an evening hunt. I don't want to get too close to where they're bedding at, but I think I can get in a tree right on the lip of this rise right here where this swamp meets this hardwoods or this CRP. And you can kind of tell you got CRP out here, and then you got swamp here. And I know they like to walk the edge of it in the evening times. You know, they'll come up, especially when them acorns start falling on them oak trees out there, which they do. In the evenings, they'll come up and start feeding on the edge of this, in this transition right here. So it's a pretty good spot. I'm gonna mark it and probably come revisit it in October. But other than that, this is the last time I'll be in here until I hunt it. So y'all hang in there. We're gonna try some, find some other stuff. All right, I'm gonna show you the tree I picked. It's pretty. No, I mean they got a bunch of trees here, but it's pretty straight, easy tree to climb. I think this one here. So, like I said, open CRP. A lot of acorns falling in October, right here. And then you got a big swamp thicket, 20, 30, 40 yards right here. And you can see where it gets shaded back in here. I know the deer probably like to stage up right there, right before they come out and eat these acorns. And then, I don't know if you can tell, but it drops off pretty good right here. And it's a lot of shade, a lot cooler down there. And they got a lot of tracks kind of walking the edge of this drop off. So, yep, this tree here, 20, 30 yard shot. That's money. Alright, we headed to another spot. Just took the bike in here, probably a couple miles down a four-wheeler trail. And I'm walking this slough right now. It's a spot I found hunting last year in later season. It's like an old logging road back here I found. Like a real small one. You would never know it's there unless you walked up on it, but they had a bunch of deer using it, and I don't know, I just think it's a good spot to check out. So I'm gonna go look at it and see what it looks like. Maybe I'll be able to hunt it this in October or something. See if they got some persimmon trees, maybe. See if the trails are still there. So you can kind of see. We're in this little bottom right here. This is a little dried up slough, and this is a good thing to look for. I mean, you could tell everything is thick that way and thick that way, and you got this this little slough that runs through here. It's always a good way to get to a spot you want to hunt. I don't like really walking in that thick stuff and scaring everything. It's a lot easier and a lot quieter if you can catch a dried up slough. So that's what we're doing right now. We're heading back there. It's going to be about a half-mile walk. So we're going to take this slough just about to where I need to get. So see what we can find. So I was walking down this slough and I got to a spot where it meets up with a small logging road. You can barely tell. Actually, I just jumped another deer, but it kind of meets up with a small logging road, and you can barely tell, but where that logging road meets this slough at, they're crossing it, and it's so dry you can't really see tracks, but I did see a couple, and I could see where some hogs kind of rubbed their side up against this tree. And just because it's hogs don't mean there's not deer here. Honestly, I find they use the same trails. So, and I'm gonna kind of try to show you what I'm talking about. So this is a slough right here, a little small one, and it kind of runs back that way, and you can't really tell, but it's so small. But there's a little logging road right here, and I'm gonna try to walk down it, try to show you. But it's just a spot where the deer can walk without making a whole lot of noise and get through all these palmettos fairly easy. It just cuts right through there. And I found this last year hunting later in the season. But I know these deer like traveling in areas, and you would never know it's here unless you walked up on it. But it looks like they're walking down this logging road, and then when it gets to this slough, I don't know if you can see it, but they got a hog. You can tell where a hog rubbed his side up against that tree. But there's a trail right here, and it's pretty noticeable. You can't really see a whole lot of tracks. I see one good track right there, but it's so dry, the ground's as hard as a rock. But I'm thinking this would be a good spot to catch one, even early season. It's hard to scout this palmettos, but especially early season because it's so dry and there's not a whole lot of sign on the ground, and it's hard to pattern them. But just little stuff like this, it's kind of what I like to look for, just some kind of transition. And it's barely a transition, but it's just a logging road, a very small logging road that the deer use that meet up with this slough. And you can tell where they're crossing it, and there's a lot of thick palmettos around. I jumped probably 4 or 5 deer already getting back here. So got a slough, logging road, and a trail coming right through here. And I think this tree right here, that'd be a good spot to set up. It's going to be about a full 35-40 yard shot, but I use a crossbow, so it's really a chip shot, I think. So we're going to mark this. I'm going to take a picture of this tree, honestly. That way I got a good idea of what tree I need to be in, because I'll probably forget exactly what tree I was looking at by October. So it's always good to take a picture of the tree, save it on your onX, and kind of when you come back in here in October, you can pretty much look at that picture and see what tree you picked out. Even dropping a pin, you get close to it, but sometimes you get to that pin and you're off 20 yards and you're like, man, I don't remember what tree it was. So that's what I'm gonna do, take a picture of it. I think it'd be a good spot. If it ain't good early season, I know it'd be good later in the season, because I hunted in here and actually killed a nice buck. So, yep. All right. For anybody that got an electric bike, you don't have to have a bike rack. You can just throw it back there like that. But the older I get, the more I think about getting a bike rack. I just think it's easier to do it that way. But I'm gonna hit up one more spot. Not far down the road, I'm gonna take the bike again to another spot in some palmettos. And it's another slough. I'm gonna try to walk down it and see. Me and my buddy Jeremy hunted it last year and saw some really good bucks, killed a couple. I think it'll be good early season. Had a lot of deer trails, so we'll go check it out. Well, change of plans. I was headed back there to that other slough and my derailleur snapped in half on my bike, so I ain't going back there today. I think I'm gonna call it a day. It's 4:30. Go back to the camp and get something to drink. I'm burning up. I brought a Powerade with me, but I don't drink that thing. Gonna clean up around the camp and then go eat some Mexican tonight, I think. But it's hot out there, y'all. Be careful when y'all going scouting like that, because I find myself in spots where something like today where the bike breaks and I gotta push it out a mile or two. You wasn't expecting that, but stuff happens, and I guess it's always good to bring a bottle of water. I didn't have one with me. I wish I would have. I'm glad I got back when I did, because I was about to my limit. But we'll go put a few more cameras out tomorrow. I could use my bike, but I'm gonna have to walk. So I'll get back with y'all in the morning. Good morning. We back at it this morning. Gonna be on foot today because the bike is broke. I just ordered a part for it, but it ain't gonna come in for another week or two. But I just got to a spot that I've been wanting to go look at. It's a far walk. It'd be a lot easier if I had that bike, but it is what it is. So I got here kind of early when it's cool, so I could hurry up and knock this out without being too hot. Pretty much where I'm at, it's just a little parking lot. It's got a little logging road that you can walk, and it's in some CRP, Planet CRP. It's kind of older. It's I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but just some it's all Planet CRP. It's just a little bit older stuff. But we're gonna go way back there. They got a big swamp back there, kind of next to some private that I've been wanting to go look at. I think get overlooked. See if we can find some. So, hang in there. We'll be back there in a second. I don't know if anybody knows what a hog wallow looks like, but I'll show you. That right there tells you they got hogs back here. It's a bunch of tracks in there. But I jumped one a while ago walking in just now, so I figured they'd be back here. They're always back here where I hunt at, in this public land over here, so that's nothing new. I don't know. Keep walking, see what we find. I'm walking the edge of this ditch right now. That's where that hog wallow was at. Just keep walking down this ditch here, and I'm gonna cut off to the left when it gets close to private and catch the edge of this swamp that I want to get to. So, not too bad of a walk so far. It's pretty cool back in here. Just keep easing our way on. Yeah, looks like I ain't the only one back here. There's a ladder stand, or a lock on with ladders going up to it right here, and then there's an old ladder stand right here. I mean, this one here it's all banged up and old, but somebody's been hunting this one. That's the thing about over here in public, man. You think you can get away from people, but I learned there ain't no getting away from anybody. They got people doing the same thing I'm doing, going way back, and you just got to deal with it. I mean, I wouldn't come hunting here right on top of them, but I am going to be hunting farther back. So if there's no trucks in the parking lot, or if I get here first, I can come back here. But I don't think he'd be hunting right here early season. I think this is more of a rut spot for him. So I think I'm good to come back in here in October. But yep, you're never alone back here. There's always somebody finding the same thing you're gonna find, I promise you. It's just finding a spot where nobody's at that moment. You just gotta keep bouncing around and have a bunch of different plan B, plan C, plan D. Because, I mean, plan A might not always work. You might have to move or readjust for hunting pressure. So, just keep that in mind. I mean, that's a big thing I do, is I bounce around a lot. If I'm not having success in one spot, I'll move real quick. And if I find pressure like that, see somebody hunting or something, I'm out. I'm going somewhere else. So let's get back here and see what we can find. Alright, I got back here pretty much where the swamp pinches off with some private land. It makes like a little pinch point. It pretty much got a funnel right down this little path, and I found a good deer trail. Straight through there, going through that little pinch of that swamp. I don't know if you can see it, but right there is a good deer trail. Some big tracks in it. And then if you turn around, the swamp's right here. Private is right here, and it just pinches down right here. And they got a bunch of good oak trees in here. I think it'd be good to set up right here. Walk the edge of that private on public from the bike, where when I park my bike, and then slip right here with the wind blowing in my face. And I think I catch them slipping either the edge of this thicket coming off the private, or just right here in this little funnel pinch point. I think it'd be pretty good. So I'm gonna go try to find a tree I think would be good to sit in. So I think I found a good tree. It's kind of far from the pinch point, but you can see it's thicket right here, got swamp thicket here, and then there's private right here, and then it just pinches down right here in this one spot. So, and then after it pinches down, it goes to some bedding area back there. So I'm thinking hopefully I can get them to come cruising through this little pinch point. There's a bunch of swamp right here they can come out of. They can come off of the private. It's a bunch of grass and just a bunch of roads, like four-wheeler road, levees. I'm gonna go over here. I don't want to get too close to this pinch point. I see a tree right here that's about 50 yards away. I think would be good to get in. I mean, if I have to adjust later in the season, I will, but I don't want to get too close to it. This tree right here,
and get in it. And, I'll be looking towards that. There's a little opening right there I can see all the way back to that pinch, and hopefully catch one cruising the edge of this swamp here and make it happen. So found a little sign, not a whole lot, but I mean it's really hard to find a whole lot of sign unless you're finding tracks right now. I did have some good trail coming through that little pinch right there, and there's a few tracks coming out of this swamp right here, so I think it's a pretty good spot to come back to. We'll pay it a visit. So I want to show y'all something pretty cool, something to kind of keep an eye on when you're scouting and during hunting season. But that is a big deadfall, and deer like to bed in them. So I was walking by it, and I just walked by here, but I was kind of off about 50 yards. Never did see anything. On the way out, I was walking next to it, and a buck jumped out from it. And I'm going to show you where he was bedded at. He was bedded right here in the middle of it. It's kind of hard to tell, but that was his bed. Actually, they got blood. I don't know where that come from, but they got blood on this stick and on these leaves. Sucker must have had a nosebleed or something. But yep, that's where he was at. Tucked in this right here, and he could watch this little open wood part right here. He could watch all over the place. He's got the wind to his back where the wind's blowing right now, so wind to his back. He can smell anything coming from behind him, and he's tucked in here good and tight to where he can see anything coming from the open woods, and he can bail out back into the private where it's big, it's really thick. So I don't know where that blood come from. I mean, I know it come from the deer, but that is crazy. I don't know if I can see it. There's blood right there on that leaf. And there's blood. Look at this stick right here. It's got blood on it. This leaf over here, it's got some blood on it. But I'm sure it's not the last time a deer will bed right there. It's kind of good to keep a note of that when I come in here, you know, try to make sure I don't bust another one out of there. But yeah, he's tucked right in here. Got this private that's real thick, a lot of young CRP. And he's looking in these open woods right here. They got this swamp thicket right here in front of me. He's got the wind to his back, and he's tucked in here just looking. See, perfect spot for the bed. So just something to look after when y'all scouting and stuff. Deadfalls, deer love to bed in them. Sets up perfect. Let's get back here and we'll see. See if we can find one more spot, and then call it a day. All right, well, didn't really see a whole lot back there. I just got back to the truck. Nothing really caught my eye, so. But anyway, I think I'm gonna go back to the camp, get some lunch, get all my stuff together, and head back home. But hopefully next time y'all see me, it'll be in a tree, possibly in October. Actually, y'all gonna see me hopefully in September in Kentucky. So that'll be my next trip, but I won't be back here until October 1st. So see y'all in the woods.